Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Newsround for Anfield Index. It is Friday, the 8th, isn't it, of August. The season isn't far away. In fact, depending on how you view it, you've got the Community Shield in just over 48 hours at Wembley, haven't you? As Liverpool will face Crystal Palace. And there's still a million and one things to talk about off the field. We'll be talking about leavers, potential joiners, attackers that we want. Could it be plural? We'll be talking to defenders that we want. Could it be plural? We'll be talking about many things Liverpool related. And to be fair, we're doing this quite early because at 9 a.m. today even, we are back in the groove, and I'll explain why shortly. I'm your host, Dave Davis, coming to you from pretty nice Edinburgh, though rain has gone away. Fingers crossed, wherever you are in the world, it is looking glorious and sunny. And it should do, because 9 a.m. today, Arne Slot holds his first press conference, doesn't he? He is back in front of the cameras, answering questions from the various patch journo and the widely assembled media, which, to be fair, there's bound to be so many of, because it's the curtain opener, curtain raiser, sorry, isn't it? That's what they call it for the new season, the Community Shield against Crystal Palace. Now, let's be clear of what's going to happen. Arne Slot is going to get asked questions on Alexander Isak. He will say, that's not my department, or obviously Richard, that. We don't talk about other teams' players. He will straight bat them down the ground for four, as he always does. But before you get on the patch journos back, who else are they supposed to ask? They put Arne Slot in front of the public. Of course, those questions are going to come up, so be ready for those. He will, of course, get asked about Florian Wirtz, the summer transfer business, how he thinks people will do. Probably will get asked about Rio and Gamoa, maybe Train Ione, and how he thinks, they're doing it. Again, he'll be cautious, he'll be smart. He's an absolute pro in these, isn't he? But with all that said, I am genuinely looking forward to what he's got to say at 9 a.m. And maybe I'm wrong on this, but I won't be surprised if he gets asked when it's around Palace, which of course he will get asked about. Mark Guehi might come into the mix. But I could be wrong on that. Well, we'll have to see. 9 a.m. if you want to watch it live. But what are the other things going off or around the off-the-pitch stuff? This won't go away, will it? And Fabrizio tweeted yesterday afternoon, Liverpool maintain their focus on Alexander Isak for the final weeks of the summer window. So new proposals ready to be submitted if Newcastle open doors to the move. Isak maintains his position. He doesn't want to play or stay at Newcastle. He wants to leave and join Liverpool. Stevie Wonder can see this. I mean, we're hearing all the reporting around it, aren't we, that he's traded at different times from the team. He wasn't invited to the players and staff barbecue, the bonding thing that Eddie Howe put on. And now Craig Hope, one of the Newcastle patch journals, reported he will have, shock, horror, surprise, no involvement in any of Newcastle's games this weekend. Of course he won't. It wasn't any real surprise. We all know what's going on here. But like the Jack Johnson tune, we are a little bit with the Alexander Isak situation, sitting, waiting, wishing, aren't we? Hoping for this realistically. For the love of God, Newcastle, please just do some business. You hopelessly run club. Nicholas Jackson being mentioned there, but saying that others are ahead of him on Newcastle's shortlist. I think that's a joke calling it a shortlist, because when you've been rejected by 7 forwards, how can the list be short? I mean, have some decorum in the first place. But Nicholas Jackson is apparently on this list. So has been mentioned Rodrigo Muniz, isn't it, at Fulham? So has been mentioned Jacob Strand-Larsen at Wolves. So has been mentioned Ollie Watkins. Visser still seems to be in the mix. It's almost like they're looking for this. All this talk was one to replace Isak and one to replace Callum Wilson, who went on a free. Just get any two you can. Honestly, lads. Yeah, and he's there on the screen, but Sheshko, as people seem to be calling him now as well, they didn't land him. Another embarrassment. And the reason say, well, why, talking about this? Because it's just delaying this inevitable, it feels, doesn't it? And actually, if we do get Alexander Isak, touchwood, I think we expect to get Alexander Isak, it's now probably starting to go through a lot of people's heads. When's he actually going to be able to play? Because he's not got a minute of game time pre-season. And in fact, Newcastle is second game of the season, isn't it? After Bournemouth, it's Newcastle away on that Monday night. Don't even think he'll be ready for them. He could be looking at September, which, you're paying a lot of money. And of course, you want the player and will be excited, but just get a move on Newcastle. We'll see. Friday is a day that Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards do love, if anything develops. Now, this one kind of got, is it still there? Is it not there? A little bit of, lack of clarity maybe on Bradley Barcola, because if you remember yesterday, James Pearce had this line on the screen, didn't he? That Liverpool rate Bradley Barcola highly, but pursuing someone of his profile would act as a pathway blocker for talented teenager Rio Ngamoa, who has enjoyed an outstanding pre-season for Arne Slot's side. Liverpool don't want to do anything to impact Ngamoa's progression. Which a lot of people are like, does it okay, that does sound like a club-fed line, but still want Matt Barcola, would still give us options. Yes. Is this a renewal ploy from Mendes just to put a bit of pressure now on Barcola, who many think want to stay there? Is it real? There's all those questions into the mix. Was this talk of approach all just phony? However, this also came out yesterday. And shout out, I didn't realise, I just like having this on screen. I didn't realise there was a Liverpool Brazil news account, but it just shows the reach there. But actually came from ESPN. So this tweet on screen, Barcola wants to stay at PSG, who rejected 2 approaches from Liverpool, says ESPN. According to French journalist Julien Laurens, Bradley Barcola has shown interest in continuing at Paris Saint-Germain, according to sources cited by ESPN. Now, I think that's almost translating as contract renewal, isn't it? Bigger wages, all those types of things. Furthermore, according to the report, the French club turned down 2 approaches from Liverpool for the player. The first at the start of the window and the second on this Wednesday. PSG has no intention of negotiating for the forward. My. There's a few things to this a little bit, isn't there? PSG have no intention of negotiating for the forward. For the record, that's exactly the same line that Liverpool released about Luis Diaz repeatedly. Do you remember when the Barca low bid came in and the other things? That is exactly the same line that Liverpool released. Now, of course, this could, as is mentioned in the report, could all be linked to just Barcola, Mendes trying to get new wages. Of course it could. But the report states clearly there was an approach on Wednesday, a few days ago, which then made people think, okay, if there's truth in that, what's happening with Isak? Is that to move on? Is it both? And, all excitement and different theories were going round. And we can get into them all, but we don't really need to. We're just dealing with the facts here a little bit on Newsround, even if we do dabble with a bit of theory and fun now and again. The first one as well, there was an earlier approach. I mean, as we said it before on the transfer window, we'd had that they'd made an approach whilst Diaz was at the club when they were looking at options, which was a swift rebuttal from PSG a long time ago. But yeah, it does seem to, if Julien Laurens is right, an approach on Wednesday, which does make you wonder, if it's true, where does this stand? Yeah, we'll await, if there are any further developments on that one. Paul Joyce was busy with a few things yesterday, and we'll talk about what he said. But for Liverpool, as it said, Liverpool will look to strengthen in the attacking areas with the 46 million deal for Darwin Nunez exit now agreed with Al Hilal. The worst kept story in Liverpool area, wasn't it? That Darwin was moving. It was all done. I mean, fair play to him. Suggestions secured the bag there, isn't it? Around 400 grand a week. Fair play. Fair play. Now, this is the big thing that I think everyone's asking questions around. It has been reported by numerous journalists that it's 46 million plus add-ons. No, Liverpool are not shy of talking about the add-ons and the sell-on clauses. They're not. Let's be crystal clear on that. But no journalist is committing to what these add-ons are. And I actually asked Lewis Steele on Media Matters yesterday, because we had him on, what are these add-ons you're hearing? And he was honest that they're different. He didn't avoid the question, but he didn't give me a figure at the end of the day. So you just wonder, are they substantial? Various theories abound. But it is a bit of a strange one. However, Darwin Nunez is, according to the various reports, set to say his goodbyes today, flying to Germany, where Al Hilal are in a training camp. And so ends the man's time at Liverpool, doesn't it? The man who got the double in the chaotic away game against Newcastle. The man who got the double in the chaotic away game against Brentford late last season, which was a key part. The man who got the winner in the chaotic away game against Forest. That header, the last minute. Chaos followed him. Chaos leaves the club, doesn't it? Good luck for everything, Darwin. I mentioned Paul Joyce before as well, didn't I? I don't think these pieces are needed anymore. I really don't. This is one he wrote, and this is the tweet for it. Darwin Nunez was an example of how Liverpool's recruitment badly changed. Lessons already appeared to have been learned. I hope these kind of stop now that Darwin Nunez is gone. We all adore Jurgen Klopp. He's a hero. He's an icon around the world, understandably. We can say that. We also know that the way the recruitment went, the setup, the schmack, all those types of things, it wasn't great and the way it should be at the end. We know why people left the club and, now they're back. We know all this. It is absolutely no secret. I just think these pieces can stop now, truth be told. I don't think we really need them at all. Yeah, it's done. Let's hope. Well, call them hit piece or anything. Just, enough of those, hopefully. This is the bit I want to go back to this tweet that people are picking up on. And even I was looking there. In attacking areas. Paul Joyce tweeted, Liverpool will look to strengthen in attacking areas. So naturally, this goes back a little bit, doesn't it? Isak and Barcola. Could Fofana come into the mix? Rodrigo got shut down, but could that be in the hopper again now? Yeah, there's loads of theory. And people, we've talked about this before, aren't they? And looking, if we get Isak, so Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo, Salah, supported by Wirtz, is that enough? Yeah, Rio and Gamoa as the 6, maybe. Talk of Frimpong covering Salah at AFCON, but Conor Bradley seems to be injured an awful lot, as we know, so we cover more at an option at right back. So is that really cover? So there's all that goes into the mix, isn't there? And I do think I would like Isak and another. Maybe you can read too much into a tweet, but it's all in the mix, isn't it? Eh? All interesting at the moment. Florian Plettenberg tweeted, and people will scoff at that name, but hey, I'm just telling you on Newsround what was tweeted, saying yesterday afternoon, what time was that? 4:45. Been told Liverpool are closely monitoring Giovanni Leoni, the talented 18-year-old centre-back from Parma, who is already on their list for this summer. Although nothing is advanced at this stage, Liverpool's focus currently remains on Mark Guehi. Leoni is definitely one to watch for this and the next transfer window. Several top Italian clubs are keen on him, which was mentioned yesterday by Fabrizio, wasn't he, who said that Inter have a lead on Liverpool at the moment because they can offer him more first-team minutes. I'm not sure there's any real exclusive or anything like that from Florian Plettenberg. Hey-ho. we've said this on the transfer show. I said this on pods. If you watched the Newsround for the last few days, that Liverpool are keen. They've been watching Giovanni Leoni. I think he's a talented boy. He's huge. He bodies people in the videos, doesn't he? And, the suggestions we've got, Anfield Index, is there's a bit of a split in the club that, yes, they do think he could be sort of the next potential Canate, VVD, a real talent, real potential. But with the likes of Alisson, Van Dijk and Salah, we are in our win now era, aren't we? That's why we're wanting Isak. I know you just say the easy one is get both, isn't it? But, I think we'd all do that. But that isn't the suggestions that are coming through. And when the Community Shield is out the way, so into next week, maybe, just maybe, I think many of us believe, if it's going to happen, we'll hear a bit more on Mark Guehi. We'll have to see on that one. And the final real story is a kid that's got everyone interested in. It's like, it always takes me back to when I was sort of 11, 12, when you transfer listed a player on Championship Manager and that little WNT would come up and it'd list 8,000 clubs and you're like, yes, I'm going to sell, get some money in here. You're already plotting what to do with it. So why am I talking about this? I'm talking about young Ben Doak, because David Lynch had that exclusive before a couple of days ago that he's still attracting interest from West Ham and Wolves being among the clubs keen. Again, referencing Liverpool rejected around 20 million offers from Ipswich and Palace in January, and there's similar attention. So that got followed up yesterday because James Pearce tweeted that Leeds United have joined the list of clubs to show interest in Liverpool winger Ben Doak. Again, reiterating Liverpool want around 20 million for the Scotland international, as impressed in pre-season so far. So we're going West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, from two patch journalist sources. And then others, and I've not got the Sky one on here, but tweeted there is attracting interest in the Premier League and Europe. And as Sky Sports mentioned through some of their various journalists, as well as the clubs that are mentioned, Monaco and Braga are also interested in Ben Doak. And again, that figures there. Although this European article mentions, again, it's the euros to pounds job, isn't it? They mentioned 20 million euros here, but it does seem to be 20 million quid or around that Liverpool are looking for. I feel a bit for Ben Doak, a little bit at the moment, because, I mean, the raft of clubs, like I said, is like a Championship Manager screen that's interested in him. You know the price. Just bid. And he has been doing quite well in pre-season, but he will know with the forwards that are there, the forwards that Liverpool are looking to bring in, Rio and Gamoa, etc., that he is so far down the pecking order. And Liverpool are still naturally looking to sell Federico Chiesa. So for all these things, I just feel Ben Doak doesn't have an in, and he will know that. Arne Slot and everyone else will know that. Well, somewhat, a bit like Newcastle, will someone just do the business a little bit, please, and get that sorted. So we'll see if we get anything on that. Remembering, of course, that Arne Slot, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards love a Friday for business. We will see if anything develops there. So there you go, ladies and gents. 9 o'clock, the main man speaks, back in the hot seat. Not really a hot seat because he deals with it so well. He'll be answering about Isak, Wirtz and Gamoa, Nunez. He'll be straight back in the lot, down the ground, back at those patch journalists. We may well get more Isak drama. We may well get more Newcastle failings today. Is there a chance, praise be to Jesus and Baby Moses and the orphans, they could just sign an attacker or two? Who knows? Will we get any more on the Bradley Barcola stuff? I don't know. Will Paul Joyce tweet anything more? Not hit pieces or anything like that, but around attackers when that notification comes through. Leoni Guehi may have to wait on that one. Ben Doak, will someone please just give a good Scottish kid an attacking home? We'll see if anything develops on that. But there you go. Plenty going on Friday, the 8th of August. That was another news round. And